Hey everybody, welcome to episode 19 of The Full Pour. Today we have some fun guests on, and this is going to be the kickoff to Washington Cider Week. And we also, Sept magazine, turned 10 at the same time that this whole Cider Week has started. So this is their 10th annual, so we're celebrating our birthdays together. We're very excited. Today, I had all sorts of plans. I've got this awesome Dabinette cider tree outside that is like got 20 apples. It is hot out there. So I took this back inside, but I got some props. These are my two little Dabinettes from my tree of 20. I'm very excited. Hoping to make maybe a little batch of cider. I also have my cider hat today. But it doesn't fit very well, so I'm not going to do that. Anywho, let's get started. I am going to first bring on Emily
Ritchie. Hey, happy birthday. I didn't realize it was your birthday too.
Yeah,
it's our 10th anniversary.
Yeah, thank you. We actually had a really big party planned, but of course, none of that's happening. So we've got some other cool things coming up though, so we'll kind of tease that later. But everyone, this is Emily Ritchie. She's the executive director of the Northwest Cider Association. She is the one kind of responsible for putting together Cider Week. How long have you been with them now?
Over about 5 years, something like that. 5 years now. So it feels good. We're really in the groove now.
That's so awesome. So Washington Cider Week is September 10th through the 20th. Tell us a little bit more, kind of what we can expect this year. Obviously, things are very different. So,
yes. So under normal circumstances, Washington Cider Week is such an important event for our cideries to get the word out that cider is a beautiful category full of many, many styles of cider. And to introduce folks at festivals or tastings. And this year is very different, but I find that Washington Cider Week is needed now more than ever because cideries have just been hit left and right this year. It's a really, really tough year for the craft beverage movement generally. And our cideries across the Northwest really need support from people who are going to enjoy cider or are cider curious, want to see that our craft movement stays alive despite COVID. So we have created a semi-virtual cider week for folks to enjoy cider safely this year. Really, that means that most of the events can be picked up either curbside, at the restaurant or at the cidery, or the bottles can be delivered to your door, so you don't have to go anywhere. Some of the events are exclusively online, and then some of them are also in person, socially distanced, such as orchard tours where you can be outside and far away from folks. There's even some cider dinners that are appropriately spaced out, and it's just you and your quarantine pod. There's some really wonderful virtual education events happening this year, including cheese and cider pairing, which is going to be really fun. There's 3 Washington ciders that have been paired specifically with 3 Washington cheeses. And we have so many great flavors to try. But there are also some new fun things like oysters and cider. Anyone like hama oysters?
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I think that everybody knows, like, cheese is always a great pairing for cider. It's just kind of obvious. So the oyster thing, that's definitely interesting.
Yes, so there's a lot going on, and there's really something for everyone, whether folks are cider curious or are totally geeky and want to geek out about the nuances of the terroir and the apples from a specific region. So I would really recommend folks check out WashingtonCiderWeek.org to find an event that you like. There's more than 20 events, so there's going to be more than most people can tackle, even though it's an extended 10-day week. But I think that's going to make it really fun. So WashingtonCiderWeek.org, and also behind me, if you just want to visit the cideries, many are open with tasting rooms. You can find, we have this cool new interactive map at nwcider.com/map. So you can find who's open right now. And that's connected to Google Business. So if someone's closed for COVID, you'll know right away.
That's awesome. Let me go back to this little thing. Well, that's so great. And then what's the website right now for everybody to be able to go on and check out all the events?
WashingtonCiderWeek.org. Okay. And there's also a Facebook page and an Instagram at WA Cider Week.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome. Okay. Well, I am now going to be joined. I'm going to let Emily take a little break before we start this little questions. And right now, also, I kind of just want to know what everybody's drinking tonight, or let us know what your favorite Washington cider is. Drop it in the little comments and we will throw it up here. So thanks, Emily. And I will be bringing on Miss Laura Cherry, founder, cider maker, everything extraordinaire at Dragon's Head Cider out in Vashon Island. And Vashon has such a robust cider scene, believe it or not. Like, I mean, how many cideries are out there now?
Well, there's 3 commercial cideries right now, but I keep hearing rumors of 1 or 2 more that might come onto the scene soon.
Ooh. And you guys are, most of your cider is made from your orchards on your property, right?
Yeah, that's right. We've got 8 acres of apple and pear trees on our property. It's about 3,000 trees total. And these are all, cider-specific apple varieties and Perry-specific pear varieties. During the 2019 harvest, we had about 75% of the fruit that we used come right off the property here. So
that's awesome.
There's a handful of apples that we'll always continue to buy from orchards that we've developed relationships with. But yeah, it's fun to see our orchard really in production and providing the most of the fruit that we're using.
So I know that you guys definitely have Dabinett trees.
We sure do. It's one of our favorites.
This is my 3rd year.
I love it.
Is that about the size that normally Dabinetts are, or am I on the miniature dwarf size?
No, I mean, they're going to vary in size. They are definitely a lot smaller than what you see for apples in the grocery stores, but they might get a little bigger than that at some point. But they're pretty small.
If anybody hasn't tried actual cider apples, take a bite of one of these things. I mean, it'll dry your mouth out like nobody's business. It's not like meant to be put in apple pie, but it works and gives like amazing texture for cider. So, and what are you drinking? Because tonight, if you can see in my glass, I've got my Dragon's Head cider glass. The Dragon's Head heritage. Woo, awesome. I love these glasses. Oh, yeah. I have 2 dogs here, by the way. Sorry if they start to get a little out of control, but this is just what happens in the life of Zoom.
We're all working from home.
Wait, so I'm sorry. What again were you drinking?
So actually, there's some Dabinett apples in this particular cider. Okay. It's what we currently sell, labeled as our heritage cider. It's made with a blend of bittersweet, sweet apples and a handful of bitter sharps as well, all from our orchard, though.
That's awesome. And you've got a pretty cool event featuring my work wife that's coming up here soon. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've partnered up with 2 of my other favorite cideries in the state. So we're going to be collaborating with Liberty Cider Works out in Spokane and Alpenfire, which is out on the peninsula. And the 3 of us are each going to be presenting one of our ciders for a virtual tasting event. So as Emily indicated, we're all pivoting in these challenging times, figuring out how we can still share what we love to do with people. And so we put together a trio of ciders, and we're all going to log on. It's September 18th, next Friday at 5 p.m. We're going to log on and talk about each of the ciders and answer questions and just share, more about what we love to do.
That's awesome. So what is, how can people purchase the 3 ciders that you guys are going to be featuring?
Yeah, great. Thanks for asking. So there's 2 locations in Seattle that are carrying the trio right now. It's Teku Tavern and the Beer Junction. And then pressthenpress.com is also carrying the trio. And the nice thing about them is they can ship directly to your doorstep.
That's so awesome. I mean, I think that's the one really cool thing that has come out of COVID and this pivoting is the fact that so many cideries have never done online shipping before. And I don't know who you guys use, but I know that Vino Shippers like really significantly helped a lot of the small cideries be able to do that. So that's so awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it's been somewhat of a lifesaver in this whole, sort of crazy world that we're living in. We fortunately did have our own online store up and running even before the pandemic hit, but we certainly saw a large increase in sales through our website, shipping direct to consumer, so that people don't have to leave their home and they can still get the cider they love.
Yeah, that's so cool. And again, tell everyone the date for this virtual tasting. We will also be dropping this into the comments so that you guys all have that as well. So
great. Yeah. So it's Friday, September 18th at 5 p.m. And you can find the information to log into the Zoom call through the WashingtonCiderWeek.org website.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, talking about everything. Everybody, I mean, as soon as you can get out there, I highly suggest taking a day trip out to Vashon and just visiting them and the other few cideries that are out there. They're all amazing. I can't pick a favorite. So, okay, cool. And then next up, we are going to bring Tommy Brooks on from Zeeks Pizza. And I mean, I don't think I'm not sure we've ever had a pizza company on, but Zeeks is important because they stick behind their beverage program. They are huge, huge, huge supporters of local. And speaking of pivot, these guys, I'm pretty sure they were like written up on CNN and like everything for what they've got going. So let's bring on Tommy Brooks. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Kristen.
Oh, that's good. That's a good little. Your Wi-Fi is very good right now.
It's better. Good.
Yeah, and let me switch this over. I always forget about these things. So Tommy, tell us a little bit about what you do for Zeeks and what Zeeks. Tell us about the beverage program because it's awesome and amazing.
Yeah, so we try to find the best out there in the Northwest for all of our beverages and food, and we try to connect directly with a lot of the producers out there. So I know Laura Doug is at the table next to me, by the way, and Alpenfire, Tim at Snowdrift and all that. So we found that having those direct connections allows us to do some pretty cool stuff with our program.
That's awesome. We did a little collaboration beer with Zeeks recently and Single Hill Brewing out of Yakima, and that was awesome. Do you guys have any collaborations potentially for a cider collab?
So we're actually, that's what I'm drinking right now. We actually collaborated with Tim at Snowdrift for Solidarity Cider.
Okay.
And there's a pretty cool story behind that. Tim had a bunch of apples that he wanted to use for kind of a higher end cider for him. And COVID hit, so he couldn't use those apples. And so he had a really cool idea to make a really high end cider and charge a really relatively low price just for on-premise accounts, so restaurants and bars like ours, to help get through these wild times. And so Tim and I talked about it and kind of collaborated on the name, and we agreed to take on as many kegs as he was willing to give us, and we've been pouring it since summer, and it's definitely the highlight of our Cider Week participation. So, and we're actually pairing it with heirloom tomato pies from Steel Wheel Farm out of Fall City.
Amazing.
They're a tiny little farm. They grow some of the juiciest, brightest, most delicious tomatoes you can find. And cider and heirloom tomatoes, especially heritage cider like this, just pair so well together. So
I'll have to try it. I don't think I've ever had that. Oh, hey, Zeeks Pizza.
Remember this guy?
Yeah, I do. Oh, I've spent time with this guy.
Oh, shit.
I was hoping he was going to make an appearance.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're just celebrating Washington cider as we do. So, yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I knew you couldn't help but make an appearance. That's awesome.
No, well, I was working my ass off over there. Beer meeting over there.
Yeah,
Laura
beer meeting. Cider meeting over here.
Oh, shit. Laura's here.
Yeah.
I don't see her.
Wait, hold on. We'll bring Laura on. In fact, I'm going to
have you on screen in the back room. Nice to see you.
Hey, Laura. I'm racing for that 6:15 boat right now. I don't know if you commute
Oh,
anymore, but
you
I'm a
better hurry
commuting
up.
motherfucker.
Do you live on Vashon too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I just gotta get out there. I just always feel like the ferries are so crazy right now with,
Mhm.
the lack thereof of the schedule. So
They're totally fucked.
yeah.
Totally unplanned, but I'm drinking a Nashi, of course. So
Oh,
we're just full on Vashon right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
Vashon has
Vashon
got
Island
it.
edition.
Yes, we got it.
That is
Yeah.
The ballad of
so
cider.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have some questions for you guys. And so I'm going to ask this one to Miss Emily Ritchie. Where's the cider industry today and where do you think it's all going?
Oh man. Well, right now I'm not really looking
Go.
past,
Go.
3 days
You
from
guys.
now. Bye. I'm actually based in Portland, and like the world is on fire at the moment. There's
No.
ash raining down at my house. So yeah, where the cider's going, I don't know past, maybe a week.
Right.
But I certainly hope everyone can stay in business. It's really going to take a community effort from all of our drinking fans out there to keep us alive. Craft cider has been hit really hard, and I know our cider makers are pivoting as much as they can to sell online and to do fun, interesting events in new ways and work with our accounts. Our retailers like Zeeks are super supportive. But the reality is it's been really hard for folks who don't have good grocery store placement to be able to sell during shutdown. And with bars and restaurants open only minimally, it's really hard for folks. So unfortunately, it's not all roses and daisies like it was when if you'd asked me in February. But I know that our cideries are going to be stronger coming out of this. It's a good challenge. And I think our community is pretty strong. So I have faith that folks will keep us going.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, the cider community is very tight and, collaborative. And we're in it. I don't even know, like, honestly, because we're on the Sept channel, if people know that we published Cider Craft Magazine. So our other publication is a international magazine on cider, which you can subscribe to by going to cidercraftmag.com. Sorry, how to do that little plug there.
We're so lucky to have that in our backyard. Let me just prop that up. Like, that is really, really cool that you have a beautiful, beautiful magazine just for cider. That's really unusual.
Thank you. And honestly, I mean, we are here to support the cider movement, and, definitely everybody out there, follow us, sign up for our newsletter, because then you'll get to hear about all of these really cool little things that are going on in the cider world. So, okay, so let's do this one. Actually, Tommy, I'm curious about this. How would you define Washington's or the greater Pacific Northwest place in cider?
Wow. It seems to be the hub of, it's apple country, so there's that.
Right. Yeah, we actually have the ag.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not just culinary apples. There's a lot of heritage cider being made, and cider apples being grown to make that heritage cider. And it's been really cool the past few years introducing our community, the Zeke's Pizza community, to heritage cider as a category, because it's really hard to find it. You really have to seek it out, in my experience. And it was kind of a risk at first when we first put it on tap. Yeah. And I was expecting maybe, because we usually have 2 cider taps at all of our kind of larger format stores, one with a heritage cider, one with a more modern cider. And I was expecting maybe 25-75 heritage modern mix, and it was 50-50 for the first one. That was without much training, honestly, and education on our end internally. So it was cool. It's kind of like a if you build it, they will come kind of thing. I think we just get it out there to more and more people, it's going to work and it's going to sell, because I think people want quality, and they want local, and they want a story behind it. And heritage has all that. So I don't know, to bring it back to the Pacific Northwest, it seems like we have more of that going on here than anywhere else in the country, from what I can tell.
It's interesting because I mean, not to just pop in here, but I think the Northwest just does everything. I think we're the one place that just like tries everything. You know, you've got like the people that are really, you know, purists and have those heritage style ciders. You've got people doing just stuff with tons of fruit and more modern style. But like, it seems like everybody's doing well. I mean, all things considered, I don't think like there's one cidery that's just like, you know, hands above everybody else, which is cool. And you know what? I think there's a time and a place for all these ciders that we're making. You know, these light ciders now. We've got these spritzers. We've got like, you know, the funky stuff, more cedar stuff coming out of Northwest, which is just so cool to see. So I absolutely love the diversity of what we've got going on in the Pacific Northwest. So.
Yeah, I would really, to add to that, this is really the Wild West of cider. If you think of where cider's roots are in Europe, in England and France and Spain, you really, if you're ordering a cider, you really have a specific expectation, right? In Spain, it's going to have much more wild notes, and it's going to be drunk really fresh, usually out of the tank. In England, it's got these like darker, robust tannins to it. In France, it's a lot sweeter, but then balanced by the tannins. But here, we don't have one specific style. We don't have rules we have to follow either. So there's a lot of innovation, a lot of creativity that we see, which makes it really hard to define, you know, what the heck is cider around here. Right. But what's fun is that we don't have rules. We don't want to be defined. We want to play by our own rules.
I mean, you've got like Reverend Nat, who is like making cider with like lamb. I don't even know. Like he's had some of the craziest things, but like
he didn't sell that.
No. But I mean, just some of the stuff he's got. He's just.
Well, it kind of mirrors your community in that regard. It's extremely experimental and fun and fresh.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, we kind of like answered this, but what do you think, Laura, makes Washington cider unique?
What makes Washington cider unique, or Washington Cider Week unique?
No. Oh, sorry. This is a little typo. Let me fix that.
What makes it unique?
Oh,
gosh,
no. Sorry. No, this is true. This is actually what I was trying to say. What makes Washington Cider Week unique? Can I
answer both questions?
Yes.
I need an assistant here for these things. I've got too much going on. There's all these little banners and things that I have to have up. But
I want to add just one thing to the last question before I answer the question about the week. Please. And that's to say, I think it's going to echo some of what you already heard. But, you know, one of the things about cider in our region is that there is an incredible amount of diversity within the category. But I think what Tommy was referring to with like feeling like maybe there was, he was putting something new on tap that people hadn't necessarily had before, was that the breadth of the category also means that we're finding new cider drinkers that maybe didn't think that they liked cider because they had only had one style before. Yep. And yet then if they keep experimenting and trying something new, they're going to find something that they really do enjoy. So I think that's a key piece of it, is that there is that diversity to the category in terms of like all kinds of different styles.
I mean, I still have friends to this day that are like, oh, cider's so sweet. I'm like, oh, you just haven't had the right one. It's like wine. Nobody's just like, I do not like white wine. You just haven't had the right one. So it's just about getting out there and tasting as much stuff as you possibly can. So
So what makes Washington Cider Week unique, though?
I mean, have you been involved? I mean, obviously you're in Washington, but have you been involved in any other cider weeks around the country, or seen kind of the things that they're doing? Or,
you know, I mean, only down in Oregon, which is so close to home. I don't know if I have much of a comparison, but I certainly love the amount of enthusiasm that all the producers in the region bring to the week itself. I mean, it really is sort of this like industry collaboration to say, like, you know, how can we all pitch in and create some kind of experience for people that is cider centric but has our style to it. But then when you put the whole calendar of events together, it's really cool to see what producers are putting out there for people to kind of enjoy and experience and try their ciders or try other ciders that they haven't had before.
It's awesome. And then Emily, give us a couple examples of some of, I'm just curious about mainly like even the in-person ones, like give us a couple examples of things that are going on during this week.
Yeah, and I'll also add, I'll give some props to Laura, because she didn't mention it, but she's been the head of the Washington Cider Week planning team all year. I really want to give her some kudos, because Cider Week is not run by a big corporation making money. It is totally a nonprofit thing run by cider makers who want to pitch in and work together. They're going above and beyond to plan events and make sure community is connected. So thank you, Laura, for organizing this.
Thank you, Laura.
You had a great committee of helpers too, though.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, there's more than 20 events, so there's a lot going on. There's a couple orchard tours that I am really excited about. Nashi is hosting tours this coming weekend, and awesome. Union Hill also, for viewers who are out in the Wenatchee area. They're hosting tours with cider packages, and I think there's charcuterie involved, which really sings to me. There are also a lot of really cool packages you can order online for folks who are not in the metro area. Like Rootwood Cider, they're out in the Chelan area. They put together a package of specific estate ciders from their farm that are really pulled for the fall season. And really highlight the fruit they're growing on their farm. So that's one of them. Liberty Cider also has a specific package, and like Laura said, they've got their fine cider pack. So that's really fun and unique. Normally, if you want to celebrate Washington Cider Week, you've got to be in Washington to celebrate. But the silver lining to COVID this year is that we're going to have participants from all over who can really participate. The same goes for the Hama Hama oysters. That's actually a collab with Yonder Cider. They're brand new, just started like last month, I think.
Our friend Caitlin.
Yes, with Caitlin. And folks can order, if you really want to treat yourself, you can order cider and oysters online if you're not out in the Hama Hama area and the Olympic Peninsula. So that's really singing to me, as well as a way to pivot and a way to get something fun, either for yourself or send it to a loved one you're worried about right now. You know,
honestly, hold on, I got to show you something real quick.
What do you have there? I would say while
this is what we had for dinner last night.
Oh.
So we ordered I think it's called the 2x2, which is 2 pounds of clams and oysters, and it's like the best. I mean, they ship it overnight. Hama Hama is amazing. So
so good.
Hama Hama and cider, great pairing.
That's awesome. So fun. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, other things that are happening, there's a lot of new cider flavors that are being released this week, specifically for Washington Cider Week. So folks who are like, oh, I want the next new thing, there's some good projects that are hot off the press. And there's a bunch of classes too. Like if you're interested in making your own cider, there's a do-it-yourself cider making class next week. And you don't have to buy anything. You just tune in, you log in, and see what all the hype is about.
That's so fun. I actually have a couple carboys that basically all the equipment, we had used it for a photo shoot, and it's just been sitting there for years. So I'm hoping I might be able to make a little cider out of this Dabinet tree, but we'll see. Who knows? And then also the Cider Summit in Seattle, sadly, is sold out. But it's so cool. They did this to-go tasting kit and then they're doing a live virtual festival on September 12th, I think. Yeah, from 6 to 7:30 too. So, I mean, talk about pivoting. Cider summits are all over the country, and unfortunately they've been canceled, and so they did these really cool kits, and everybody can enjoy it from across the country. So that's pretty awesome.
And a little sneak tease that we haven't officially announced, but just for your viewers, if you missed the Cider Summit and you wanted to order a pack of cider, the Northwest Cider Association is actually launching our own cider club next month. So if you want to learn more, go to nwciderclub.com and you can sign up for our newsletter once we're ready to release specific details.
You heard it here first, everyone. That's so cool. I mean, you guys have your finger on the pulse and obviously know what's going on. So, and I'm guessing you're personally selecting these ciders.
We are going to have to figure out a very fair way of selecting folks very fairly so that everyone can play well in the sandbox. But I imagine it will be 6 to 12 ciders in each box so that people can try. They're all going to be different brands, so you can get a sampling of many different styles.
That is so cool. And then, so if somebody has a specific preference for cider, do you like a wine club? Can you choose, you want more the modern style, or do you just give it to them all and just say, try everything? Just try everything.
I want everyone to try everything. I think maybe eventually we'll be sophisticated enough we can pull specific styles for different people. But I think our very first box, it's going to be a one-stop shop, and folks will get to try, kind of like when you order a CSA. You'll try vegetables you've never tried before. Same with ciders, and hopefully you'll fall in love with something new that you wouldn't have picked out for yourself normally.
That's so cool. And then, Tommy, what exactly is Zeke's involvement with Washington Cider Week? Is there something that you can, is there, like you said, there's that awesome tomato pie that you were talking about, but how can people get involved and order from Zeke's and be part of Washington Cider Week?
Cool, yeah. So ZeeksPizza.com or the mobile app is the easiest way to do it. And we got some killer deals on growlers and crowlers delivered to your door.
Awesome.
Of the Snowdrift Solidarity, for example, the Double Mountain Perry that we're pouring, some Thai tin cans, a lot of good cider delivered to your door. You can do takeout. You can come to one of our restaurants and hang out on the patio if you want to. My personal favorite is the heirloom tomato pairing with the Solidarity cider from Snowdrift. So
I honestly am not cooking. I never cook dinner on the full pour when I have to do the full pour, so I might just be ordering that pizza and cider tonight.
So the check out the Cascadia Caprese.
Okay.
The Solidarity cider. It's
that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Well, does anybody else have anything you want to share before we lose our audience? Because I know that they only like us for about a half an hour, and then they're like, okay, let's get moving.
I would just say, go for it, Laura.
On Island, right?
You what?
You don't deliver that pizza to Vashon Island, do you?
Got to work something out with the ferry system.
That's right.
West Seattle.
And I would just remind people to go visit tasting rooms. If you can just spend your money directly with cideries instead of, at big grocery stores, the cideries really could use all the dimes you send their way. So nwcider.com/map, and you can make your own fun and go visit in a safe manner right now.
That's awesome. And then I just noticed that Anna from Rootwood is on here with us. Hi, Anna. And I'm sorry, but maybe they should check into a location in Chelan. That would be real good. But okay,
Noted.
cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight, spending some time with us, and go visit WashingtonCiderWeek.org for all the information, the lineup of events, support local. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone right now during this really challenging time with the wildfires, and so give everyone a hug. It's a crazy world out there right now. So all right, well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
See you guys soon in person.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
All right, see you later. All right, well, that concludes episode 19 of The Full Pour. We will probably be coming live with more stuff specifically for Washington Cider Week over the coming week. So do what you can to support all of our local cideries. They definitely could use it right now. And Also, follow us at sipmagazine.com and cidercraftmagazine.com because we might have some cidercraft viewers here. So thanks, everyone, for your support, as always, and we will see you, I think, next week. All right. Have a great night.